welcome back to my channel Freezer Tech. So we'll continue with our Python series. So in this tutorial we'll be going over keywords and identifiers in Python. So let's begin. So let's know first what is a keyword. A keyword in Python, these are simply reserved words that you are not allowed to use to name your identifiers, function names or class names. Some of these keywords in Python include the following. So let me just comment them out. So we have if, true, else if, false, none, class. Finally, all of these words, int, str, float, all of these words and many other more, you are not allowed to use them in naming your variables, naming your functions, or use them as identifiers. This will cause your program to crash and to throw an error. So these are reserved keywords and you are not allowed to use them in naming your variables, functions or classes. Okay, so let's move on. To identifiers. Identifiers, these are the names given to variables, classes or functions. Now identifiers are very important to know, and there are certain rules that you need to follow when working with identifiers. Some of the rules are: you can use letters from A to Z. You can name your variables with any characters from the alphabetic characters. You can also use numbers or digits, but there's an exception. Your variable or identifier must not start with a digit or a number. For example, this is wrong. This will cause Python to throw an error to you and cause your program to crash. The third rule, you can use the underscores in your variables. Variable and underscores can be used anywhere within your variables, like you're using snake casing, which is convention in Python, or you can put it in front of a variable, which in Python this programmers use like to identify like private variables, but in fact there are no private variables in Python. It's just an identifier. So whenever you see underscore in front of a variable, the programmer is actually intending to mean as a private variable. Okay, so let's move on to these advanced concepts. We'll cover them later on. So keywords can also be used. Some of the keywords we cover them here up. You can't use them as identifier. We discussed that. You can't use special symbols like the exclamation, @ hash symbol, $sign, percentage, caret sign, and multiplication sign. You can't use them as an identifier of variable names. Your variable names can be of any length. 2000 words is fine if you want, but be reasonable. Okay, so important thing you have to know in Python identifiers is that Python is case sensitive language, meaning that ANA starting with small letter a is not the same as ANA starting with capital letter A. So the program will treat it differently. So whenever you're writing Python code, make sure to watch out for case for your whether the word is capital or small letter. They are two different words, even though they have the same meanings. In Python, treat them differently. So let's move on to statements and comments in Python. What is a statement in Python? Statements, these are basically the expressions that will be executed by the Python interpreter during the runtime. So for example, if I write here a print statement, I print hello. So if I run this, we'll see here hello. So hello is a statement that will be executed by the Python interpreter during the runtime. So this is what an expression is in Python. Just a statement that will be executed. You can think of it like code, the code itself. So you can write this in multiple lines. So you can just say print hello. So okay, let me just say hello backslash okay, hello, and then okay, another line will print hold. So if you run this, is a multi-line statement, meaning that the interpreter will execute this line first and then this line. So this is a multi-line statement in Python. So get hello and then world, hello and then world. Okay, let's move on. So let's move on to Python indentation. In most programming languages, they use braces to identify blocks of code. Now in Python, we don't do that. Instead, we use indentations to identify blocks of code. So for example, this is a for loop in Java. You can see the braces are being used. So this is a for loop in Java. This is how a for loop in Java looks like. System.out.print. So it will print hello 10 times. Okay. Now in Python, try the same thing. In Python, we don't need to use curly braces to identify anything like that. So we just for x in range, we're going to print. Okay, if you want to print, okay, I'll explain that later. So going to print and hello. Okay, so if you run this code, you're going to print hello 10 times. I have put here 11, but it's something that I'll explain to you later. You're going to print hello 10 times. So if I run this, you're going to get hello 10 times. Okay, so this is a block of code in Python, but this is how it looks like in Java or C. So they use braces to identify blocks of code, while Python use the indentation from the baseline to as a way to identify blocks of code. So this is just press tab and that will be done, or you can, it's equivalent to pressing space 4 times. So if I run this code again, it shows so bad because you can see here spaces 4 times. Okay, that is the setting in this thing. I don't know which interpreter you are using. So this is a block of code. So whatever is inside this indentation will be executed 10 times. So let me write here another statement. Print world. So if I run this statement, you're going to get, it's going to go inside of this block. It's going to print hello 10 times, and then it's going to jump out of that block. It's coming here to print world. Okay, so let me just run this. You see, we'll get hello 10 times, and at its end we'll get world. So this is how we identify blocks in Python. Okay, so if I move this indentation inside of this will also be executed 10 times. So we get hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world 10 times. You see, hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world 10 times. So this is how we identify blocks in Python by using indentations rather than curly braces. So let's move on. Comments in Python. Comments are basically statements written by a coder or a programmer to inform himself about something, just like writing notes. You know, if you are in school, write notes in pencil to remind you of something. It's just like that, writing a summary somewhere. So it's the same thing in Python. So there are multiple multi-line comments or many-line comments. So as you can see, I have been using comments throughout this. You can see. So to make a comment in Python, you just put hash and then print. Maybe you can write anything you want here. So you can even write code here, but it will not be executed by the Python interpreter. So when I run this, nothing will be executed. See, nothing is outputted. But if I comment this out and I run the same code again, you're going to get hello on the screen. So just putting this in front of expression tells Python interpreter to ignore it, so it will not be executed. So we have multi-line comments or many-line comments, like many lines. So we just do the same by putting hashtag in front of all the words. Like you can see here, this is all I have been doing, a multi-line comments. Okay, so let's move to docstrings in Python. What are docstrings? Docstrings are comments that are written inside of a function. So for example, you want to create a function that functions are blocks of your reusable code. We will discuss them in the future, but just understand this, that if you put an comment inside of a function, that is called docstring. So in here I have a function. This is how a function is in Python. Def, name of the function, parenthesis, colon, and then a block which is called a suite of code, and then here you write your expression. So if I put in here a comment, that comment is known as a docstring. So for example, someone has created a program, and this program has many functions. One of the functions is called say hello, and you are new to this program. You want to check what this function does. So you can just say the name of the function, say hello, and then dash underscore double underscore and then doc double underscore. So by writing this expression, it's going to print for us this statement that is here. So it is, maybe it's good to write this inside of your code, just to give you like a reminder of what a certain function does. Maybe I've created this function, it says hello world, but in the future, some reason I forgot what this function does, but I remember that I wrote a comment that describes that function. I can just come in and say hello world, the name of the function, and dot underscore doc, and then you print it to tell you what the function is about. So if I run this, it says that this function says hello is what I have written here. Okay, so this is just a basic theory of what comments, how to use comments, how to name variables, statements in Python, blocks, comments, doc strings, and so on. So in the next tutorial, we're going to move to variables, how to name variables, and then from there you can actually begin to code. So see you there. Thanks you for watching. Please don't forget to like, to subscribe to my channel if you find this tutorial helpful, and share this tutorial with other people who you think this tutorial will make sense to or might help. So thanks for watching. If you have any question, please leave a comment below in the comment section. I will try my best to get back to you. So yeah, thanks for watching.